The New York Rangers have made some very interesting moves so far this offseason, trading for a guy like Riley Smith, signing someone like Sam Carrick, and waiving a guy like Barclay Goodrow. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at kind of the cap situation for the New York Rangers, not only this season, but kind of going forward into the future as well. So let's get right into it here, starting off by taking a look at the current cap space available for the New York Rangers as of right now before we have a player who did file for arbitration, and Ryan Lindgren will know his next contract probably in about a week or so, assuming they don't sign an actual deal before his arbitration hearing, which I believe is about on August 2nd there. So in about a week or so, we'll know at the very maximum there how much Ryan Lindgren's next contract is going to be. My guess, and from what I've kind of read from articles and reports, it probably seems like it's going to be something around a cap hit of 3.6, I would say, to about 3.8 mil, something around that kind of range there. 3.6, 3.8 is kind of what I'm guessing, kind of what I've gathered from, articles and reports and kind of news like that and rumors. It seems like it's going to be something around that kind of range there, 3.6, 3.8, which I think is a very fair cap hit for what Ryan Lindgren can bring. He's a top 4 caliber defenseman playing on the top pair alongside Adam Fox, who we know is a Norris Trophy winner. He's a phenomenal defenseman there. So I think bringing him back, whether it is on a one-year deal, which has been kind of rumored to possibly happen, which would be kind of interesting there for the Rangers. Obviously, not locking him up long-term makes sense because we're going to have big contracts coming up in the future as well. But the big kind of problem with signing him just to a one-year deal is the fact that no matter what, his next contract will expire as an unrestricted free agent. So even if he signs a one-year deal next offseason in 2025, next summer there, he will be a UFA, meaning he can sign with any team out there in the market. Any NHL team is interested, he can go sign them with them. So that would kind of, obviously kind of affect the Rangers' leverage in kind of trying to bring him back, or possibly you have no chance to really trade him away. So that kind of makes things a little interesting there. We have to wait and see kind of what happens there, whether he does sign a one-year deal or not. So it kind of makes sense both ways, but it really would kind of make things a little interesting to see whether or not the Rangers can actually bring him back if he only signs a one-year deal. And assuming Ryan Lindgren's next contract cap hit wise comes in something around, 3.6 to $3.8 million, the Rangers will have slightly above $2.2 to $2.4 million in cap space after re-signing everyone needed on this team, which is not bad at all. Going into this season with over $2 million in cap space, you can accrue a little more as the season goes on there, would not be a bad idea at all for this team. Going to the deadline there, kind of wait until then to possibly make a bigger move. And you may say, well, they only have, 2.2 to 2.4 mil. They don't really have much, money to go out there and really add in a true kind of top 6 forward or top 4 caliber defenseman. But you got to remember there, the Rangers could also add in a contract like Kaapo Kakko, who's making $2.4 million for this upcoming season cap hit wise. So that brings you up to, 4.6 or 4.8 possibly mil in cap space available. But you also remember the other team could possibly end up retaining some money on them, up to 50% there. So let's say that the Rangers are trying to trade for a top 6 caliber forward with a cap hit something around, let's say $5 million. Well, if they retain 50% on that, then that brings that cap hit down to $2.5 million. You trade away a guy like Kakko, that's pretty much equal value there. You're looking at maybe $100K that we have to give up in cap space there. And then you're still looking at over $2 million in cap space on this team. Still go out there and acquire a depth defenseman, a depth forward, a possibly top 4 caliber defenseman or something like that. You still have room available to go out there and acquire some more stuff, add in some depth, add in some other forwards kind of strength in the middle 6 or whatever you want to do. So the Rangers definitely do have cap space available to go out there, make some trades happen, even though they do seem to only have, maybe let's say like 2.4 mil going into the season here. They will be able to kind of create some more room towards the deadline there to really kind of strengthen this squad at the trade deadline, which they definitely will need to do. We know we didn't see any massive, huge trades happen this offseason or any huge signings, which I don't think we're probably going to see throughout the rest of this offseason, but going towards the trade deadline there, the Rangers are going to have enough cap space available, assuming they don't make any more big moves, to go out there and acquire a top 6 caliber forward or a top 4 caliber defense, which I think we probably need more of a top 6 caliber forward, but still, we have the room out there to go out there and acquire some big fish at the trade deadline there, which we already acquired a guy like Riley Smith. There's a great kind of middle 6 forward. If we want to add another kind of top 6 caliber forward, we definitely will have enough room to do so, especially if we're willing to trade away a guy like Kaapo Kakko, which would not be the worst idea in the world. Though he could have a big season there, depending on what he kind of does here, trading him away with a $2.4 million cap hit, he definitely has a bit of value left, would not be the worst idea in the world. And I know some people are definitely not happy with what the Rangers have done so far this offseason, even if we don't see that big trade happen this offseason, which, like I said, I don't really think we're going to see at this point. let's just be a little patient here and let's kind of wait until the trade deadline, and then we'll see what this team actually does. I kind of think it's not ideal to be making the big moves happen at the deadline, pretty much every year for the most part, like we've kind of done. Trading for Andrew Kopp, Patrick Kane, Tarasenko, all of these kind of big moves that have happened right around the deadline there. It's not ideal to do every single season, but I still think that we can definitely strengthen up this team enough to possibly end up winning a cup there. We know we have Igor Shesterkin in net there, who is arguably the best goalie. Once it gets to the playoffs there, he is truly elite. So he can do a lot for this team here. Yes, it's tough for a goalie to truly carry an entire NHL team to a Stanley Cup final there and actually win the thing, but Igor's a great goalie. This team is still very good. We've made it to 2 of the last 3 Eastern Conference finals. I mean, that is very, very good. That means this team is very good. They're deep. They've got some good talent, just about getting some guys to kind of perform better in the playoffs there and adding a couple more pieces, and we definitely could have a possible Stanley Cup winning team. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, not saying it's going to happen, but there definitely is reason to have some hope that this team could possibly end up winning a cup at some point, especially if we make some big moves happen at some point throughout the rest of this season up until the playoffs happen in 2025. But taking a look here at the massive contracts that could possibly end up coming into effect on the Rangers cap space next season in 2025, 2026. Starting off here with one of the bigger ones here, and that is Alexis Lafreniere. This is a guy who is currently making $2.325 million as he is an arbitration-eligible RFA next offseason, meaning he can kind of do the same thing that Ryan Lindgren did, where they go to an arbiter, which is kind of like a middleman there to kind of help sort out that deal if things don't come to fruition there and they can't come to an agreement, which is possible. It could happen, but for the most part there, deals normally end up getting done, especially when you're talking about a guy like Alexis Lafreniere, first overall pick, a guy who's really kind of blossomed this past season, and I'm assuming he's probably going to have another massive season there. That's kind of why he didn't want to sign an extension this offseason, whereas he can wait till next offseason. Ideally, for his sake, have a massive year this upcoming season, be over a point per game possibly, maybe get, 35 goals or more and like 50 assists or more, and then he's looking to have a pretty massive payday there for a guy who at that point will be 23 years old. He's done turn 23 in October, so next offseason, when he's looking to sign his new contract, he'll be about 23 years old there and could possibly end up getting paid a huge deal. It could be looking something around the $8 million range there. You take a look at what guys like Tim Stützle got and some other kind of guys that are around his age range. He could definitely get around that $8 million mark, maybe a little more than that, maybe slightly less, but something around that mark there is definitely what could be a realistic kind of outcome for him if he does end up having a massive season in 2024, 2025 there. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens there with his next deal, whether or not he does have that massive season to get a huge payday. But if he has a big season there, he definitely could get paid something around that $8 million range, which would be quite a bit of money there and would definitely affect Rangers' cap space situation quite a bit. Another very interesting player is a guy like K'Andre Miller. He is already making $3.872 million per season, but he could obviously end up having a pretty good, season upcoming here and maybe have, 40 points there, playing a great two-way game, possibly end up kind of really taking a big step up defensively. Maybe he ends up getting, like a new contract worth $6 million because he is an RFA next offseason with arbitration eligibility. So maybe he ends up signing a 6-year deal at $6 million. I could see something around there, but I could also see him getting, like a 1 or 2 year deal at, cap hit up. Maybe it's like $4 million or 4.2 or 4.5, maybe getting like a $700K raise the most. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens with him as well, but he definitely will more than likely end up getting a raise, but it kind of depends on how well he does to see how much of a raise he truly gets. And the next guy we have here could be in for a massive payday, and that is Igor Shesterkin. Currently, his contract is $5.666 million, but with him being a UFA next offseason, he very well could end up getting an extension at some point this offseason to kind of kick in for next season, possibly, in 2025, 2026, which would make sense there, and I definitely hope that kind of happens there. I don't want to see him go to unrestricted free agency next offseason where a bunch of other teams are going to be kind of, going after him as well, potentially offering up to, $12, $13 million potentially if a team gets really desperate and really wants to go up there and, pay for a guy like Igor there and put a lot of pressure on the Rangers. So hopefully an extension can get done there, but no matter what, I see it being at about double the kind of money he's making currently there, which definitely puts the Rangers in a very interesting position cap-wise. Hit him making, around maybe $10, $11 million, maybe $12 million even possibly per season. That definitely puts a hold on the Rangers' kind of ability to go up there and really kind of add other players to really kind of upgrade this team. Paying him around, $11 12 million definitely hurts his team quite a bit there. Hopefully it comes in around that kind of 10.5 mil mark, which would not be too big of a deal, especially with the cap going up quite a bit over the next couple of seasons there, and guys like Trouba and Panarin, eventually coming off the books in the next coming years as well. But either way, we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens next offseason with guys like K'Andre Miller and Lafreniere, as well as potentially as soon as this offseason at some point with Igor Shesterkin's potential new extension. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Helps the channel a ton. I really appreciate it. If you are a Rangers fan, this is the exact place to be. So definitely subscribe. And also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on a possible extension for a guy like Igor Shesterkin, new contracts for guys like Lafreniere and K'Andre Miller, and also let me know your thoughts on the entire kind of cap space situation for the Rangers right now. It's not looking great, but when you consider guys like Panarin and Trouba are coming off the books in the coming years as well, that's about 20 mil just for those two players combined. So that definitely will help things out quite a bit, although we could see some massive new contracts going to happen in the next coming months. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.